brought to you almost live from the Dude in the Basement studios. Why? Because that's where the good stuff is. It sips, suds, and smokes with your smoking host, the good old boys. Now it's sippin' time.
Yes, it's sippin' time again. Hello and welcome to this Sips episode where everything good in life is worth discussing. As always, we are the best thing on at 2 a.m. This is a 1-hour show that's allegedly entertaining for 22 to 23 minutes an hour. We are currently banned by the UN Security Council for being broadcast in the Korean demilitarized zone, and we aren't allowed to attend any more family functions, at least until Aunt Millicent gets over that unfortunate misunderstanding from last month. Again, we are sorry. We thought the Scotty dog would like scotch.
It's in their blood, man. It's in his blood now.
That's right. I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, it's Harm's fault. He told me.
He's a Scotty dog. You know, it is Scotty.
Yeah, he should be drinking scotch.
Drinking scotch.
This is Made Man Bob, and joining me today are good old boy Justin.
Hello, Bob.
And Made Man Maury.
Good morning, Bob. I love that you decorated the basement to match the theme today.
Well, I've tried,
I mean, I feel right at home with all the Asian decor and
you
the
like
flags.
That? Yeah.
Yes. And even the dogs, the food dogs.
The silk screens make it though.
You like the Hello Kitty? Yeah, isn't that nice? And good old boy Harmeet.
Hello Kitty. I'm sorry.
I just got creeped out. How about you guys?
Wait, I'll make it worse. This is for my wife. Roll Tide. Yo.
Now I need a bath. Maury and myself are with the Bourbon Mafia. The Bourbon Mafia is a non-profit organization composed of bourbon enthusiasts and industry professionals with representation in 8 states. Our members combine a love of bourbon with a passion for charitable work. The group,
yeah, you just did some.
Yeah,
we did.
You gave a big old check to some World War II veterans. I like that.
We did recently this weekend for Honor Flight of South Florida. They fly World War II veterans up to see the memorial. It's a very worthy charity. They're doing God's work.
Oh, and also they drank, so there's drinking involved. So good job on you.
Yeah,
good on you.
There were 7 courses and 7 wines, so one from each theater of operations. The group uses their love of our native spirit, again, to raise money for local and national charities through rare bottle auctions and other themed events. Check us out on Facebook at The Bourbon Mafia. Our show is also sponsored in part by Fine Spirits in Cooper City, Florida, home of the Enigmatic Machines. Serving great wines, whiskeys, and other spirits by the glass, you can find them at facebook.com/finespirits. And our show is also sponsored in part by the Fort Lauderdale Whiskey Society.
The what Society?
Wow. Whiskey Society. To find out more about all the events and anything whiskey related that's happening in the South Florida area, visit FTLWS.com.
Or see Fort Lauderdale Whiskey Society on Facebook.
There you go. Our show today is a sip segment. It's all about wine, distilled spirits, tea, and coffee. Today we are doing some whiskeys from Kavalan Distillery in Taiwan and Nikka Distillery in Japan. Yes, they do make whiskey in Asia.
And mighty fine whiskey, I might add.
So we're going to have Maury tell us a little bit more about the Kavalan Distillery. We've had a few of their expressions before, but we're going to drink them again. So take it away, Maury.
Fantastic. Thank you, Bob. Kavalan was established in 2005 as Taiwan's first distillery by Mr. Tien Tsai Lee, founder of the...
Oh, my.
That's the one.
He is the founder of the King Car conglomerate in Taiwan, named after the old name of Yilan County in northeast Taiwan, where the distillery is located. Kavalan is also the only family-owned distillery in Taiwan. With a dream of creating a Taiwanese whiskey, Mr. Lee sought out the assistance of internationally renowned whiskey consultant Dr. James Swan, and together they created the Kavalan Distillery. Kavalan began distilling November 3rd, 2006, so they're really young, and perhaps one of the youngest. And the distillery was opened to the public in 2008. They use water from the springs of the Snow Mountains to create the mash, which is then fermented in temperature-controlled stainless steel tanks to protect it from the subtropical climate of Taiwan. The mash is then distilled in Scottish copper pot stills, and the new make spirit is barreled and aged in one of Kavalan's 5-story aging warehouses. Each warehouse holds 30,000 casks, which are tied together to protect them due to the frequent earthquakes in the region. Because of the tropical location of Taiwan, temperatures on the top floor of the warehouses can reach up to 108 degrees Fahrenheit, causing a more rapid evaporation rate or angel share of up to 12 to 15%, as opposed to the average in Scotland, which is only 2% per year.
Some drunk angels.
Yeah.
Yes.
This advanced evaporation rate results in the spirit maturing at a faster rate than in many other countries.
Except India, let me tell you, we have fast evaporation rate there too. We treat our angels well.
This is true. And apparently the process is working, as Kavalan has won over 100 gold medals since their first release. In fact, Jim Murray's Whiskey Bible named Kavalan Soloist Vino Sherry Cask Malt the new whiskey of the year in 2012, and the Kavalan Soloist Vino Barrique won World's Best Single Malt Whiskey and Best Asian Single Malt in the World Whiskies Awards in London in 2015.
These guys are good.
Yeah, they are.
Young and good.
And guess what?
We're going to be trying both
of those today. So
yeah. Here's the list of the whiskeys from the Kavalan distillery that we will be sampling today. Number 1, Kavalan's Classic Single Malt Whiskey. Number 2, Kavalan Concertmaster Port Cask Finish. Next will be Kavalan Soloist Sherry Cask Finish, as mentioned above. And lastly, the Kavalan Soloist Vino Barrique.
Nice.
All right. Thanks, Maury. And in addition to these fine whiskeys from Taiwan, we're going to be tasting some Nikka whiskey from Japan. So, sorry, I'm a kid of the 80s.
You should have played more of that song. I was rocking out, man.
That was a fantastic song.
I know. Yeah. All the people that are listening to us that are our age group are right now going, oh, man, you turned it off too quick. So I'm going to ask Harmeet to give us a little information about the guys from Nikka.
When he's boring us, it was a little encore of that song.
Yeah. I don't bore you people. I keep you entertained for 22 minutes. Oh, started. Yeah, thank you. Well,
sorry.
I love me some Japanese whiskey.
Sorry, did I offend you? I'm sorry.
All right. I apologize. I'm really, really sorry. I apologize unreservedly. I offer a complete and utter retraction. The imputation was totally without basis in fact.
I love that movie.
Are you okay?
That's a great movie.
Was that sufficient?
Well,
okay.
What about my heirs? You didn't apologize to my heirs and my...
Oh, heck with your heirs.
It's in there. Fine. So, anywho, kids, Masataka Takatsuru was born in 1894 in the coastal town of Takehara near Hiroshima to a family of sake brewers with a history of dating back to 1733. So while he was studying to become a chemist and preparing to carry on his family business, he was exposed to Scotch whiskey, and he decided he was going to change gears. And he dedicated his life to whiskey. This man enrolled in the University of Glasgow. He apprenticed at distilleries in Scotland, and he got his hands on the experience and craft of making whiskey, and he received more training as a blender. In 1920, Masataka returned to Japan with his new Scottish wife, Rita. So he miscegenated just like me. I like this guy.
Lovely Rita Metermaid.
Yes, that's right. He brought himself home a nice redhead to begin working on the new distillery in Japan. And after many years for working for other companies, he was determined to strike out on his own to create his own vision, a true Japanese malt. So let me tell you a little bit of this. He actually was hired by Shinjiro Tori, the man who was also in the pharmacy business, who started a little distillery you may have heard of, Yamazaki, or Suntory. Suntory, who makes Yamazaki. So he actually established the Yamazaki distillery and hired Masataka Takatsuru to run that distillery for him.
Easy for him to say.
Yeah. Well, Takatsuru, anyway, ran the Yamazaki distillery for a while before striking out his own in 1934.
I think it's funny you are impressed that all these guys were in the pharmaceuticals business. This is South Florida. Every third person you meet's in the pharmaceuticals business.
Well, yeah, we've got the pill mills.
They're street pharmacists, but other than that,
we've got them all.
Yeah.
So these guys went to a different type of pharmacy. This is cardiovascular pharmacy by another name. Alcohol, relaxing
it's happy
blood
medicine
vessels.
For me.
Very good.
Keeps me happy.
So
So what's his problem, Mr. Happy?
I don't drink enough whiskey, apparently.
Oh, that is the problem.
Yeah.
At least you admit it.
Yeah. So he started Nikka, and with Nikka whiskey, he built his first distillery in Yoichi in Hokkaido. And he started that because the landscape reminded him of the Scottish town where he studied. In 1969, he built a second distillery called Miyagikyo near Sendai in the Miyagi prefecture. Sorry.
Is that Mr. Miyagi province?
Well, it probably would be a Mr.
Is it whiskey on?
Whiskey off? Yeah, probably would be the prefecture would be Mr. Miyagi, yeah. So
I liked him better.
He is kind of regarded as the father of Japanese whiskey. And, he started making Yamazaki, Suntory, what it became today. He started Nikka. This guy's, he didn't want to do it the way the Scottish do it. So they're not using the Japanese oak or any crazy stuff. It's just the exact way the Scottish did it. That was his dream. He died in 1979 at the ripe old age of 85. And we are drinking several of his whiskeys today. And here's the list of the ones we'll be having. One of my favorites is the Nikka Pure Malt. And then we'll be drinking the Yoichi Single Malt from the Yoichi Distillery. And then Nikka Miyagikyo. So, do we have time to do the sips ratings too?
Well, we can get started.
Well, let's try it.
All right.
Let me tell you something. I like me some Japanese whiskey. I like me some Indian whiskey. And I like me some Taiwanese whiskey. And even though I'm legally an American, I don't know if I can be.
I need to tighten up the immigration process.
I think the word legal when it comes to him is a little bit rough.
Yeah. We need to tighten up the immigration process.
I've been naturalized, son. I was a Canadian citizen for a while too, but I don't say A. Actually, I did have take off A on my car at one point. I wore a toque, the whole thing. We could do this.
We don't care about you being from India. It's that Canadian citizenship that we're so put off by.
Yeah. Socialized medicine.
Rolling clouds and crashing surf, iridescent dunes reflecting by the light of a rising, glowing moon. Seashore mesmerizing, night breeze hypnotizing. We've come across these back roads none too soon. Look to the left, to the right. Keep your eyes on the road, my darling. Wondering if we're only passing through. Open roads and open windows. My hand is yours forever, sweet love.
All right, and we're back, and we're going to have Harm tell us about our sips ratings.
Well, first, I wanted to say we were arguing about balaclavas versus toques and other Canadian wear, but we're not going to go into that because before we got back on the air,
they wear toques in Canada, not balaclavas.
Yes, well, we wear balaclavas too because it's cold. You wear a toque. But
what are you, a ninja?
You killed it because you started talking about your assless chaps, which you know.
Me and David Lee Roth.
Which is, it's again, that's just redundant because all chaps are happy.
He's just mad because I got more hair than David.
What happens in the basement stays in the basement. That was not for public air.
All right, y'all. I just want to say roll tide and let's drink some whiskey from the Asian parts of the world. So let's do the sips ratings. 1 sip. Give me a glass of water to wash out my mouth. Water. Bring water. Bring water. 2 sips. Nice. But what else you got?
Well, isn't that nice?
3 sips. That was interesting. What was this again?
Interesting.
4 sips. Let's keep this secret to ourselves. Pour me another, boy.
That's classified.
5 sips. Oh my. I was unaware anything could be this good.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I'm done.
The sad thing is we asked him to do it as a pirate, so
I don't have a pirate voice.
I thought he was going to do it as
he's
with
Canadian.
his Indian
He
accent.
thinks that's a pirate. So
We lived in the Midwest of Canada. There were no pirates in Winnipeg.
what is it with the Midwest? It doesn't matter where it is. All of you idiots say "hey."
We do say, hey, yeah.
It's like you're all from Fargo. All right, well, let's get started by popping that first cork. All right, Justin, why don't you take the first one?
Kavalan Classic Single Malt Whiskey. Our samples are from Asia, and they're 40% alcohol. The U.S. release is 43% alcohol.
They sent us the wrong one by accident, but we're not complaining.
Well, no,
yet,
some of the
are we?
samples we got are Asian samples because some of the Japanese whiskeys are all in the back is all
Also
written in
Asian, yeah,
Japanese,
these are also Asian.
which is kind of fun.
Well, they were all pretty awesome. And this one was too. The original flagship of Kavalan, the single malt, ex-bourbon refill casks, ex-sherry refill casks, and New American oak casks. This expression was a gold medal winner at the 2016 San Francisco World Spirits Competition. The color was nice and light. I got apples on the nose until I let it breathe for a while and added some water, and then I got some mangoes. I found it sweet and pleasant. And I got lots of oak on the front end, and it finishes sweet on the nose. I gave this one 3 sips.
Interesting.
All right, Maury, what did you think?
I thought it was a beautiful whiskey. I think it's very well made. I think it's a beautiful everyday whiskey. I agree with most of the tasting notes that Justin had elaborated. It's got a medium length finish. It's definitely got a nice mouthfeel, a little bit of warmth, a little bit of oily, and a little even a citrus on the finish. I agree. The mango is tough to come by. You have to really let it open up, get some air, and maybe even add a couple drops of water. I think it's very well made. Give it 3 sips.
Well,
Interesting.
let me just say something. I wasn't listening to you guys because I was sipping on my whiskey and reading my text messages.
Boy, how unusual. That would imply he's ever listened.
But all I heard was the 3 sips, and I think you're wrong. This is a pretty burnished copper, and I really did gave this one a lot more air. When I first tasted this whiskey, I didn't give it any air, and I didn't get that tropical note that you expect from this whiskey, from everything that people write about it. It's clean and floral, but it wasn't overly fruity. When I gave this thing 15 minutes of air, I mean, honey and mango really came out. There's a tropical note, almost a banana, but then pear and mango come out. I read somebody said something about coconut. I think that may come out earlier and it goes away. But I just want to smell this whiskey. This is an inexpensive whiskey from Kavalan. They're least expensive. And I still think it's a champ. With a little bit of cold water, 15 minutes of air, I got sweet mango, very complex whiskey, spiciness. And what did strike me, I think, Maury, I wasn't really actually listening to you, but did you say something about oiliness?
Yeah, I sure did.
Yeah, so this has got a viscosity that I wasn't expecting for a whiskey like this, and it was beautiful. The finish was medium, and even though you guys, you only gave it 3 sips, I'd say definitely a 4 for me. I could drink this all day, every day.
That's classified.
Let's hear what Bob has to say about it.
Well, as much as I hate to agree with Mr. Bitter over here,
I was thinking I didn't want to hear what Bob had to say.
yeah, this again, this is their introductory. This is their base level whiskey, and it absolutely does not drink like an introductory base level
No, I
whiskey.
agree with you that 100%. They don't have to apologize for it.
There's nothing that I've ever had from them. I mean, and I've had quite a few different expressions, and I've had a couple that really aren't really available here in the U.S.
He's always bragging.
I've just been lucky.
Let me tell you something about my whiskey
Let me
collection.
tell you, I wish I had some more of these. Yeah. On the nose, the honey, the fruits. Now, in their tasting notes, they mentioned mango, which we all kind of looked at and said, we don't really get until we gave it some time. And this one with some air, really, it came out really good, and it just got better the longer it sat in my glass. And with literally, I was worried that we got the 40% as opposed to the regular 45, thinking it'll be a little bit watered down. Let's face it, we've got a lot of cast strength geeks around this table.
Yeah.
And I honestly, it made no difference whatsoever because I've had both of them. It's still just an absolutely lovely whiskey. A couple of tiny drops of water, and that mango just burst forth. Very, I don't want to say very oily. We're not talking to Campbelltown here, but a very,
oh, hell no.
but an oily mouth coating, unctuous, viscous feel to the liquid. You get the apple.
I'm letting it sit in my glass. The mango's coming out again.
You get the apple at first, and then after the time, that apple sort of morphs into a mango. A little bit of citrus on the end. It's an absolutely lovely whiskey. I give it a solid 4.
Nice.
That's classified.
Yeah, actually, that reminds me. Before we go to the next one, we had a mango as a tasting note for another whiskey. Was the one I really loved last year was the Highland Park Ice Edition. Mm-hmm. There was no mango on that the first time
until
half hour in the glass. It was mango sorbet.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
And that one, I think that got 5s around the table.
Fives around the table.
It was a
exactly.
stunning whiskey. Well, why don't you tell us about the next one?
Oh, sure. Was that me? Oh.
That's you.
That's you.
All right. So our next whiskey is the Kavalan Concertmaster Port Cask Finish. This is an American release. We do have the American bottle here in front of us. 43% ABV. Ex-bourbon casks finished in ruby and tawny port vintage casks from Portugal. And they don't give an age statement on any of these whiskeys. Because that huge angel share, because of the heat, these whiskeys mature probably 3 times the rate what they do in Scotland. This expression was awarded the gold medal at the 2016 International Wine and Spirits Competition. The color was a deep old bronze with red glints. The nose, to me, just went straight out port. I got some red grapes, a little bit of spice, some tobacco leaf, dark berries. I just pretty nose. I could just smell that all day. Just let that air out and come back to it over and over again. On the palate, I got some Demerara sugar. Again, rich port, some oak. I got a little bit of nuttiness, not, it was like underneath, I guess a little bit air brought that more out, but figs and dates were at the forefront. I just wanted to keep coming back to it. Again, with and without water, I love this whiskey. The way I actually liked it the best was without water because the finish was longer. The finish was more prunes and fig, a pinch of tobacco. The cinnamon was there. And another four sip whiskey from me.
That's classified.
All right, Maury, what'd you think?
I like this whiskey. I thought it was just a clear step up from the previous offering. I do like port cask finished whiskeys very much, especially on the American bourbon side. I thought this had some interesting layers of flavor. I do agree that it took time to open up in the glass. It definitely needed more air. I was pretty underwhelmed when I had a sip right out of the bottle, but with some time, it definitely opened up.
These are complex whiskeys. I think air really helps them.
Yeah, I think it brought out a lot of the notes that Harmeet mentioned. I do think that a little bit of water helped it. And it's not so much that it helped it. It was perfectly fine without water. It's not too hot. It's actually a very nice 86 proof whiskey. But the water enabled me to unravel and unpeel back a few extra layers.
Yeah, I'll give you that. But actually, I think I liked it better without the water this time. And that's rare for me. I usually don't do that.
I just thought it brought out some different layers of flavor and things like that. A solid whiskey, extremely well made. I must admit, I teetered between a 3 and a 4. I'm probably biased a little bit by what's to come today.
Because you're American, you don't think this is a real whiskey, boy?
No, not at all. They got some stuff that's going to knock your socks off.
What's ahead.
He knows what's coming, yeah.
So I gave it a solid 3 sips, leading towards 4.
All right, Justin, what'd you think?
I got strong caramel.
Before you get to that, why don't you hand me that bottle? Just saying. Yeah.
I got some strong caramel.
Look at him. He's talking
Thank you,
and
sir.
passing a ball at the same time.
Something you can't do. Walk and chew
Can't
gum.
do it. No. But we had to keep interrupting. Sorry, Justin, go on.
So I got lots of pork flavor on this, and I had it the second round just
You say port or pork?
Port.
Because both of them I find attractive.
Pork's awesome, but this one I got port. And when I added a little water, it amped the port up about 3 times. And the flavor builds really quickly, but it falls off really quickly. And I got a little bit of cedar on the back end. I gave it 3 sips. On any other day, it would have been 4. But
Really?
what's to come, I had to give higher ratings
You guys are
to other
just...
things.
You can't do that. I disagree with you. Either it's a 3 or a 4. You guys, well, because we tasted this other stuff right after.
No, I agree. I mean, we should be judging what's in the glass in front of us and not comparing it.
Yeah.
But it's human nature. It's hard not to compare to everything else at the table.
Well, some of us have the ability to look beyond such petty things.
This is why my wife slaps me all the time. Why are you looking at her?
No, she just does that anyway because you deserve it.
That's true.
On the palate, I got some really rich spice. You know, the raisins, the currants, that came through. Very rich oak. A little bit of nuts, almonds in the back. On the finish, nice and long. The port notes are really lovely. I tried it with and without water. I did notice a big difference for me personally, but all in all, an excellent whiskey. I give it a solid 4.
That's classified.
All right. Well, Maury, why don't you tell us about the next one we got?
I'm going to tell you about a wonderful whiskey if Harm gives me back my tasting notes.
No, I'm writing down something for him. Dr.
ABCs?
Maury could not wear his glasses today, so he couldn't read the cask number.
That is not true.
He does that at work, too.
I'm the only one at this table that doesn't wear glasses.
He's a urologist, so he's looking at pee. He's just looking. It's a yellow or it's not.
Yeah, well, some of this whiskey we got in test tubes, and it's a test tube full of an amber-colored liquid. I was worried he'd think he was at work.
Yes, I did think I was at work. Okay, on that note, our
Why
next
is it
whiskey
not warm? Yeah.
is the Kavalan Soloist Sherry Cask Finish. This is a single cask whiskey. It clocks in at 57.8% ABV. We actually have the actual barrel number, but I'm not going to take the time to recite this 16-digit barrel number. I will tell you.
You're not going to find it anyway. I think when did you buy this bottle, Bob? About a year or two ago. You're not going to find this barrel.
I will tell you, we have bottle number 436 of 476. So it's a pretty good size sherry butt that it was aged in. Again, it's finished in Oloroso sherry casks. It is non-chill filtered and no color added. Let me tell you, this is the most beautiful colored whiskey of the night. It is dark like tar. It's
black like your heart.
Yeah, well, that too. It is dark and deep and coppery and just like a burnished bronze color. It's beautiful. It's fantastic.
Well, that's in the glass. When you're looking in the bottle, that's like that Loch Dew stuff they sell in Scotland. What is there? Is there actual activated charcoal in this thing? It's black.
Yeah, no, you can't even see through it.
You can't see through this.
When we tried this the first time, I think the way I described it, it was as dark as Satan's heart.
Yeah, or my sister-in-law's.
Or driveway sealer.
Yeah.
There you go. On the nose, you could smell it all day. It is just unbelievable. It's got tons of sherry on the nose. It's got chocolate. It's got figs. It's got cherries. It's got spice. It's got cocoa. It's just got everything going on. There's even some Christmas spice notes. It's just fantastic on the nose.
It's not potpourri, though.
It's not potpourri. It's not potpourri. And I am a sherried whiskey fan, and I must admit, this could make me convert from Scotland to Asian whiskey right here.
That's right.
I love Scottish sherried whiskeys. I admit it. I have a soft spot for sherried whiskeys, and this has changed my world today. On the palate.
This is your first time trying this?
This is my first time trying this.
Justin, this is your first time trying this?
Yes.
I wish you'd have told me that before.
Why, you'd open the other one?
Yeah, sure. I'll open the other one.
Okay.
I don't care.
On the palate, sherry notes, berries, currants, pecans. It's big. It's rich. It's deep. It's just, this might be one of the finest whiskeys I've tasted, at least in the last 5 minutes, but perhaps even this decade.
Even today?
I would go with this decade.
This decade. I mean, this is really a fantastic whiskey. It's got a fantastic finish. It lingers on and on and on. It's got lots of sherry on the finish. I mean, it's got sherry throughout. I really think that if you like sherried whiskey, if you like any of the sherry casks finished from Scotland, this is a must try. You won't get this exact barrel, but you'll definitely get something close. Again, so far my whiskey of the morning in the dark, damp basement, I give it 5 sips.
Oh my goodness!
Yes!
Yes! Yes!
Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
That's what I said, dude. All right, Justin, what'd you think?
This whiskey definitely noses beautifully. You get nice sherry and caramel on the nose. The taste, you get an amazing fire. Almost too much, but not too much. You get fruit notes. I got dates on the back palate. I gave it a solid 4 sips.
That's classified.
All right, Harm, what do you think?
I'm gonna be a little bit stingy like Justin. It's not because I know what's coming up or anything like that. It's like, listen to me. I agree with everything Maury said, which is rare. I hate what Maury says. He's a doctor. I don't want to hear anything doctors say to me. I'm fat. I don't need this.
Yeah, you're fat, all right.
I never give you medical advice.
I'm the skinniest guy at the table, but I'm still fat. Yeah. These guys are.
Oh, I take exception to that.
Anyway,
I
You
resemble
want to step
that remark.
outside?
we'll talk to your wife. We'll see who's fatter. Look at this. Anywho, I've got a face for.
He's fatter where it makes a
and
difference.
Oh, nice. This show should not be aired. Anyway, Kavalan Soloist Sherry Cask. This is gorgeous whiskey. Everything Maury said, this is Satan's Heart Dark. The Oloroso Sherry. I got more fig than cherry, but it was there. The nuts are there. The big, rich, deep flavors are there. Berries and currants and all the sherry notes throughout. But this is the thing. I think there is a little bit of a flaw here. I think it's a little bit too sweet for me. So I can't give it 5. I have to give it 4. Bobby Joe?
That's
Too
classified.
sweet. Wow.
Just a little.
Out of your
Get
damn
sweetness
mind.
at all. I mean, I talked about a lot of things, but sweetness just wasn't one of them.
The sherry on this thing hits you like a hand grenade. The body on this thing, when you see it's that black, you think, man, that's dark. That might be, that's a little oddly dark. I'm not sure what I'm getting.
Is
here
there activated charcoal in the bottle?
Until you taste it. And again, it's a brick straight to the face. The sherry is huge. The cherries on this thing are huge.
You gotta like sherry.
I got fig too.
The dark cocoa that I get in the back. I mean, it's just the flavors on this thing, the currants, the berries. I get a little bit of a black tea note in the back. It's rich. It's dark. It's deep. 5 sips.
Oh my goodness!
All right.
And we'll be back.
Not just the destination, but baby, the whole elation of riding down this lover's avenue. As slow as the willow blows, or as fast as the whirlwind grows, we glide beneath the stars in cobalt blue. Look to the left, to the right, keep your eyes on the road, my darling, wondering if we're only passing through. Open roads and open windows, my hand is yours forever, sweet love. Our eyes ahead on these back roads with a view.
And we're back, and we're talking about Kavalan whiskey out of Taiwan. We're going to be talking about the last one that we're tasting today.
From Kavalan.
From Kavalan, which is the Kavalan Soloist Vino Barrique. It's fully matured and used American oak wine barrels that were previously used to mature both red and white wines. The barrels were then toasted and recharred. As we learned earlier, this is the 2015 World's Best Single Malt Whiskey at the World Whiskies Awards, and it was the Best Asian Single Malt Whiskey as well.
I want you to read that again as Elmer Fudd, because it's the world's West.
I'm driving in my car.
Well, I think that you
Turn
underscore
on the radio. I want
a couple
you
of
to
interesting
hold me
differences.
close.
Maury's all about moving on to the serious stuff.
All right.
The previous whiskey was only finished in Oloroso sherry cask. It spent the majority of its life in ex-bourbon cask. This whiskey has spent its entire life in American oak wine barrels. So it's
Both red and white, by the way. Both red and white
right.
wine barrels.
And so it's not
No
really
blue at all.
No blue.
no blue.
No.
There
no
is
green.
blue wine on the market now. This is an abomination.
How about plaid? They plaid?
In Scotland, I'm sure they have
Sure,
plaid
they probably
wine.
do.
Yeah.
Well, this one again. This is their heavy hitter. This was the World Whiskey of the Year, and there's a reason. This one is
In 2015, man. It's like 2 years ago.
it's got a cask number that's very, very long that I'm not going to read, but it's bottle number 122 of 209, 57.1% ABV. The color on this, it is not black like the last one, but it is unbelievably dark.
But when you put it in the glass, it's a natural color.
No, but it's dark in the glass.
It's absolutely a natural color. I mean, they're not adding any caramel coloring to this at all, as far as I know.
No, not at all.
Listen, the last one looked like blackstrap molasses.
Exactly, and this one is, I mean, extremely dark.
It's like grade B maple syrup dark.
On the nose, you get dark
rum. The fact that you know the grades of maple syrup really disappoints me.
Yeah, you should, Canadian.
I'm telling you something. He's a urologist, and if my urine looks like Class B maple syrup, there's a problem.
And he knows.
That's right. That's why.
He knows the different grades of curry, but he doesn't know the grades of maple syrup. What kind of a Canadian are you?
I lived in Winnipeg. All the maple trees they harvest.
Home of the Jets. What's wrong with you?
On the
Good
East
Lord.
Coast. Come on.
All right. Dark chocolate, old leather, a little bit of rum note on the nose, citrus on this.
Send that bottle back, please.
Yeah. Why are you hogging the bottle, man?
You have to ask me nicely.
Please don't Bogart the bottle.
No, that's nice. Okay.
There you go. Hold on. He had to pass it to me first. Go, please go ahead with your note.
Sarcasm is anger's ugly cousin. From now on, unacceptable.
All right, well, let's get to the palate on this one. This whiskey, to quote the current administration, it's huge. It's huge. This is a big, big, big whiskey. Huge flavor in this. Cherries, dark rum, chocolate, dark coffee, some berries. Oh, just really almost overcooked toffee, not burnt, but just really just dark.
It's party in a glass.
Dark toffee. The finish on this thing lasts the rest of your life. I mean, you drink this and 20 minutes later, you're still tasting it. There's a reason that this won Whiskey of the Year. Honestly, this is a stunning whiskey. I bought this a while ago, and it's been sitting in the closet looking for a reason to open it. So we were doing the show, so I figured, why not? Let's break this thing out. And all I keep thinking is, I wish I'd have bought a few more of these, because this is absolutely stunning. I could not give it any less than a 5.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah!
Bob, not that age is everything, and we've already discussed the reasons why these whiskeys age or mature faster, but do you have even the slightest clue how old this whiskey is?
It's been in my closet for about a year and a half.
I don't have any official notes, but I'm getting 5 to 7 years.
Looking at this, where they're losing 10 to 15% a year, and if you keep taking 10 to 15% off of a full barrel, after about 8 or 9 years, it's empty. So, I mean,
but I'll tell you what, I've seen
old.
40-year-old Scotch whiskeys that are not this dark.
Yeah,
they're approaching this dark, but it's amazing.
They say rule of thumb 3 times faster in India. In India and in Taiwan, and the whiskeys are aging about 3 times as fast as they do in Scotland. So 7 years is 21 years.
Yeah, I mean, when you see the distillery, I mean, it's this lush green jungle that is extremely hot and extremely damp. That's where they're getting this color. And again, I mean, they couldn't have a 10-year whiskey. I don't think they could ever have a 10-year whiskey unless they wrap the thing in plastic or something.
Well, they could transfer to stainless, but then it's not aging anymore.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. So, I mean, they can't, it's going that fast, and that's where you get this concentration. And a lot of places do this, or places in America are doing it in southern states where it's really hot and it's aging faster. But I haven't had anybody, there are very few out there. There's a few in India that are doing it. There's a few here and there, but this kind of quality, I haven't had anything.
Well, we glossed over the fact that Dr. James Swan built these stills for them. Is it James? It is James, right?
Yeah.
So Swan built these. These are very distinct stills. They're the lantern shaped stills. I mean, I know that the guys in India wanted to hire Swan to do them, but he's under contract from who is it? Not Paul John Whiskey. He wanted to hire them. They wanted to hire these guys, the Swan, to do this stuff. These are lantern shaped stills. They're the perfect size. Lots of copper contact. The quality of this whiskey is not paralleled.
I would agree. So I'd like to really echo what Bob said. And I won't repeat every one of his adjectives because he did a superlative job. This is really the finest whiskey I've had today, and perhaps the finest whiskey I've had all year. It's really wonderfully well made. It's got tremendous complexity and layers. In the glass, it doesn't look all that much lighter than the previous whiskey in the bottle. Again, it's super dark. It's a fabulous
just goes
whiskey.
on forever.
It does. It finishes forever. I could wax poetic about it for the next 20 minutes. I'll just cut it short and say 5 sips solid every day.
All right, Justin, what do you say?
Justin, you gonna agree?
I agree. I gave it 5 sips. Gorgeous. The finish never ended. Wow.
All right, kids. I'm not going to say anything different. What am I going to say? I got so many layers of flavor out of this thing. It just keeps going. But
okay, thank you. Have a nice day.
Yeah, thank you. Every night. Come again. But look, this is the reason. It's not Scotch. It's not bourbon. But you guys around this table are mostly bourbon drinkers. This hits every point you guys want. It's on hitting on all cylinders. It's right between Scotch and bourbon. The sweetness is there. The richness is there. The finish is amazing, and it's clearly 5 sips.
Please don't say it's too sweet.
Excellent.
No. The other one wasn't. The other one was a little bit too sweet.
The sherry was more sherry. This is not sherry, but it's equally beautiful.
5 sips.
Oh my goodness!
Unanimous. All right.
Oh, my.
Okay.
Bob, please put this on the list when we do the show recap for the year.
The best
I'd
of
like
year.
to
Yeah, the best
revisit
of.
it
Yeah,
on
we're
the best
doing
of the
this.
year.
Oh, you want to drink more of this?
You have to ask me nicely.
Pretty please.
Okay. All right, we're going to go on to our next whiskey, and we're going to start doing the ones from Japan now, so we'll have Justin introduce the next one.
Nikka Pure Malt, 43% alcohol by volume. A non-age statement expression of Nikka Taketsuru Pure Malt Whiskey, named after the company's founder, Masataka Taketsuru. It features plenty of whiskey from the Miyagikyo distillery.
I saw the look of panic in your face.
As well as a percentage of malt matured in sherry casks to give it a rich spiced nose. This Japanese whiskey, which is a marriage of single malts distilled at the Yoichi and Miyagikyo distilleries, is aged in various types of oak casks. Taketsuru Pure Malt, released in the summer of 2015, without an age statement, is set to replace the now extinct aged Taketsuru expressions. It is a blend of malts averaging 10 years of age with a high percentage of Miyagikyo malt with some Yoichi added in. The whiskeys were aged in different cask types, including ex-sherry barrels.
I used to have the Taketsuru 12 and 17 in stock. Those were some crazy whiskeys. So, what did you think about this one, sir?
So the color was light. True to its name, you definitely get a lot of malt on the nose, and there's a rich malt sweet taste, nice viscosity on this one, but a short finish, and the short finish got it 2 sips.
Well, isn't that nice?
All right.
All right, what did you think, Mr. Happy?
Well, I was pouring myself another while you asked me. I noticed that you drank yours. Why don't you talk about it?
I didn't drink mine.
Oh, you drank something else.
I drank something else. You just handed me the bottle.
I'm losing track.
Yeah.
Where's my notes? There they are. I was looking at my whiskey. Okay, so the color of this was a golden amber. This is of the 3 Japanese whiskeys we're drinking today. This is the darkest of the 3. It's got a bright. It's unfair to drink these after Kavalan because this is a completely different style. The Japanese whiskeys are a more lighter, elegant style than these heavy wine finished Taiwanese whiskeys we tasted. We should have done this in a different order, but these are light and elegant. This is more like your Scotch. This is honeyed and bright and beautiful. I get citrus and melon notes. A little bit of berry and mango on the nose. It needed some air to breathe to get that mango again. Palate was fruity, lots of citrus peel. I got almond and hazelnut on this. And one thing that really struck to me was muscovado sugar. I don't know if you have muscovado. It's kind of like it's a blend of cane sugar and a little bit of molasses type thing. It's used a lot in India. And
makes a beautiful old fashioned. Make it into simple syrup.
Perfect.
Muscovado old fashioned.
Exactly. So like I agree with Justin saying the finish was too short, but I can forgive it that because the flavor was just perfect for like, especially if you're a Scotch drinker. Those Taiwanese whiskeys are more for bourbon drinkers. This is a 4 sips.
All right, Maury, what'd you think?
Well, I've kind of split the difference between the two boys.
Okay, and you want me to just hit 3 and we move on?
Just hit 3 and move on.
Okay.
I think that it's a lovely whiskey. Again, I agree with Harmeet. I wish I had started with these today and not the Kavalan. The Kavalans are just so deep and dark and rich and big and bold, and these are more finesse, more elegant, more feminine.
Yeah, very, very, very elegant.
It depends on your evening, what you want to drink first.
Yeah, I think this is a beautiful whiskey. It's extremely well made. It's a wonderful whiskey. Again, I was 3 teetering on 4. I gave this one 3 sips.
Interesting.
But I really wouldn't pour it out of my glass anytime.
I think both you guys gave it the lesser reviews because the rating. I mean, the finish wasn't as good, right?
Yeah, it didn't have the longest finish, but I think it's extremely well made.
You can't compare that to the Kavalans, which are just heavy. Bob, did you agree with these guys?
Yeah, I mean, the finish is shorter. Now, the problem is we just finished with that Kavalan Vino Barrique. But we tasted all these before we actually did the show. So I was able to get that out of my mouth before I tried this one. It's not a forever long finish. It's also, I don't think it's just drops off. It's there. The thing is it's such a delicate whiskey. You're not going to get, a 20-minute finish out of a whiskey this delicate. It's just not physically possible. So I don't look at it as a flaw at all. It's just the nature of the whiskey. I think it's a
clean
lovely
and
whiskey. It's very elegant. It's got so many layers of finesse to it. And it is the stereotypical Japanese whiskey. The level of just precision in this is wonderful. I give it a solid 4.
All right.
Classified.
All right, Harm's got our next one.
Okay, so our next malt is the Yoichi. I'm sorry, the Miyagikyo. We're doing the Miyagikyo. I have it wrong on the list here. So the Miyagikyo is 90 proof, 45% ABV. This is the single malt from the Miyagikyo distillery, which is Nikka's second distillery. It was built in 1969, fairly young. It's actually younger than I am. Damn. The founder chose this site because of the mountains of the Sendai contrast with his first distillery, which is the Yoichi in the coastal area. So this is the southern distillery owned by the southern malt whiskey distillery owned by Nikka. Nikka owns some other distilleries that are further south in Japan, but they don't produce malt whiskey. The color, medium gold. Nose was completely different from the Taketsuru. We've got lemony, citrus notes, lighter, more vanilla, a little dried pear, some flowers, custardy type thing going on. The palate was a little bit of ginger, just very light ginger underneath some citrus. I don't know if I got the spearmint that they talk about in their tasting note, but there was an herbal quantity, an herbal component. Not sure what it was. It's elegant. It's light. It's got a hint of smoke. I loved it, and it's 4 sips.
All right, Maury, what'd you think?
That's classified.
Wow, Harmeet. That's all I can say is wow. I think I'm going to have to revisit that one.
I've got it sitting in my glass for the last 30 minutes, and it's getting better. That custard note's coming out more.
I thought it was a wonderful whiskey. I think it was well made. I agree with just about everything you said. I teetered again between 3 and 4 sips, and I ended up giving it 3 sips today. Again, I wouldn't pour it out.
Interesting.
Now, Justin, what'd you think?
It smelled to me like malt and sake mixed together. It reminded me of Yamazaki 12. Taste builds quickly and goes off fast. I gave it 3 sips.
Interesting.
All right. Well, our last one is the Yoichi single malt.
Just give your review on the Miyagikyo real quick. Just your sips ratings.
I don't have time. We're running out of time. So, because somebody gets wordy here.
I'm passionate.
All right, the Nikka Yoichi single malt whiskey, 45% ABV. It's a beautiful whiskey. It's well made. It's got toffee and roasted nuts and apricots and peaches on the nose. Roasted peanut butter, ginger, oak, orange peel, leather, mint, ginger. It's got a lot of wonderful flavors. I'd love to compare it to the 15-year. This in and of itself is a beautiful whiskey. I gave it 4 sips.
That's classified.
I'm giving it 4 sips. What he said.
That's
Justin.
All right,
classified.
Justin.
Giving it 3 sips. Nice viscous
Interesting.
flavor.
There's the outro music.
See, that's what happens
Bob?
when we start talking a little bit too much. All right.
Let me tell you, you stuck 8 whiskeys in here. What's your rating?
Don't care. That's all the time we have today. We hope you enjoyed this episode. You can catch all of our episodes online as well as on SoundCloud, TuneIn, Stitcher, YouTube, Google Play, PRX, and Spreaker, our native media host. iTunes, Google Play, and our own Android app are the easiest ways to enjoy the show on your phone. Just search Sips, Suds, and Smokes on iTunes or in the Google Play Store. Be sure to tap subscribe and the show will always be in your phone. We love your feedback, and you can reach us online at info@sipssudsandsmokes.com. Our daily tasting notes flow out on Twitter every day at Sips, Suds, Smokes, and our Facebook page is always buzzing with lots of news. You can also interact with the thousands of other fans on these social media platforms. Do us a favor and take time to rate this episode if you're listening to us online. That's a big help to us, and we get to hear your feedback as well. Want to thank our hosts. Thank you, Justin.
Thank you.
Thank you, Maury.
Thank you, Bob. I love what you do with the basement with the theme-appropriate decor today.
And thank you, Harm.
I resent you putting all these great whiskeys on the same show and not giving us enough time to talk about it.
Gee, the guy who had the longest thank you is the one complaining about no time.
I know.
Shh.
You obviously have a wonderful economy with words. I look forward to your next syllable with great eagerness.
For Sips, Suds, and Smokes, this is Made Man Bob, and we thank you for joining us. And remember that life is too short to drink cheap whiskey.
Wrong. It's too short to drink bad whiskey. There was not a bad whiskey on the table today. Thank you,
No, the
Bob.
whiskeys today were fabulous. There was a big price range, but they were fabulous.
It's a good whiskey life.
Yeah.
Beats working.
Who's working?
I'm sorry, but all questions must be submitted in writing.
This has been a One Tan Hand production of Sips, Suds, and Smokes, a program devoted to the appreciation of some of the finer slices of life. From the Dude in the Basement Studios, your hosts, the Good Old Boys, will see you all next time.